Spain no longer surprises me. When I first arrived, everything stood out, but over time, I've gotten used to things that once seemed difficult. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Anita Mateo, a Cuban living in Galicia, Spain, here to share more about my life and experiences, how I'm adapting, what I do in Spain, my progress, and what I like or dislike about Spain. And well, subscribing is totally free. It really helps me a lot to keep making videos for you. So go ahead, give it a like, subscribe. I'll give you a second to do it. Okay, I'm not in Galicia today. I'm in Porto. One of the advantages of living in Galicia is that Portugal is just below. So I often take a little trip here whenever I get a chance to travel. I know that in the last video I told you that sometimes during these dates you feel sad because you're far from your family. You're a bit more distant from your close family, the ones you lived with. But here I have family too, and we meet up once a year. We try to gather during special occasions since everyone is busy, so we don't feel alone. As I mentioned, my family visited me this time in Galicia. Last year we traveled together to Amsterdam. And this year, well, I have a little cousin who's still a child and he was excited to come here to Portugal or Porto, so we came here. They'll join me today, and I'll also discuss another important topic since I don't just make travel vlogs. Travel vlogs on my channel rarely perform well since they're not my usual content. I try to discuss topics like life reflections or my experiences in Spain to keep things more interesting for you. So, well, now this is the hotel where I stayed right here behind me. It's called Villa Gale or Porto Ribeira. I recommend it. It's a little outside the city center but still walkable. We also have a reservation to visit the beautiful Lelo bookstore. Well, it's very iconic here. If you come to Porto, you have to visit it. In fact, it looks a lot like the bookstore that appears in the Harry Potter movie. Harry Potter is actually famous for that. I'm hurrying because I have a reservation, but we can keep talking. The hotel isn't in central Porto, it's a bit far, but if we walk that way, we'll reach the center in about 20 minutes. I'll keep discussing what I want with you today. Today, during this trip, I decided to make this video as I reflected on my life. I've already been in Spain for 3 years, and I feel like I don't want to say that I've lost the magic, but there are already many things that used to surprise me a lot before I was amazed by everything. You can actually watch my videos from when I first arrived. Looking back, I'm surprised by how amazed I was by basic things. That's normal though, since I came from Cuba, a place with few opportunities or things to do. Experiencing this is a luxury, but then I started asking myself how I really feel. And I said, I've already been to Porto 3 times, but I said, that's it, no. I feel surprised by many things, but when I travel in Europe, I'm not as surprised anymore. I think it's normal because I've already spent a lot of time and I've experienced and lived through things that have made me normalize my current life a bit, and I'm not the same person I used to be. And I don't know if this is something sad or something bad or something good, I don't know. That's what I want to talk about in this video, my point of view on all of this. Like, a lot of things that used to surprise me don't surprise me anymore because I've already normalized them. I already live here, so it's normal. For example, my cousin was born in Cuba but moved to Spain at age 1. He's almost more Mallorcan than Cuban now, and that's normal for him. Each year they visit a new country, usually around Christmas. His vacation trip is going to a new country, and for him that's totally normal, just normal, you know? We've come to Porto because he hadn't been here before, and I thought, wow, his childhood is so different from mine, since I didn't travel or go out at all. The most I ever did was travel to my grandmother's village to see her. In fact, I always wanted to stay there and then go back home. I never traveled much. It was always just where I lived and what I knew. For a child in Cuba, traveling abroad is rare. And I don't know, they have a different reality in their lives, right? The normal reality for most Cubans, like traveling like that, leaving the country. Meeting a child who had left and returned to Cuba was amazing to me, truly the greatest thing. Today, as an adult who left Cuba and built my life, I'm here and few things surprise me now. Today, I feel a bit sad about that. Not unhappy though. I'm happy, grateful, and having a good time, but I still reflect on it. Is that good or bad? I have two perspectives. I'm in line to enter the bookstore. I'll go in and see if I buy a book or just browse. This is my second visit, but I'm here again for my family's first time. And well, I'm just going to enjoy the excitement of the moment, although, it's with a different feeling. It's not like the first time I came here to Oporto. It's not like when I visited Oporto before. I went to the bookstore and bought two cute books, one as a gift and one for myself. It looks like they make special editions just for this place, which is said to be the world's most beautiful bookstore. And I got one of Alice in Wonderland and one of The Little Prince. And here it says that this edition is produced by the most beautiful bookstore in the world. I love reading, but I haven't done it in a while. I think spending so much time on social media is the main reason. It makes us waste a lot of time on that. And we forget that there are other hobbies, at least from my point of view, and sometimes I forget to read because I'm looking at my phone. So I want to encourage myself more to get back the habit I had in college of reading, because honestly, when I was in college, I used to read a lot. Things don't surprise me anymore, as I said, because my life has changed. After 3 years in Spain, I've adapted to a new reality and accepted this as my life, which I think is completely normal. I think this happens to everyone when we've been living in a certain place for a while, because we start adapting and getting used to it, even if our previous reality was very different. I haven't forgotten where I'm from or about humility, even though people sometimes question that when they see me or comment online. Honestly, I don't care what people think about me because I know who I am. And the people who are close to me, my family, my friends, the people who love and care about me, they know who I am. I don't care if people who don't know me have opinions about me. Why would I lie to you? But I have read comments sometimes, like when they see you maybe improving your life a little or changing the way you live. Some people comment, "Oh, you're not humble anymore." I often saw things like, "When you were in Cuba, you were more humble." So is it just because I was in Cuba? I had no other choice but to go hungry, to live differently, to be a little worse off. But honestly, I wasn't happy. Yes, I had my family, my origin, my home, my reality. But in Cuba, people aren't happy, don't live well or freely. So I left Spain and my life changed. Obviously, I have a better lifestyle than before, and that's totally normal because that's what human beings look for, to improve. Don't you think so? You who's watching me, aren't you looking to improve your life? Well, I am looking for that too. By moving to Spain, my life improved a lot. Have those who saw my change from Cuba to Spain noticed the difference? My life improved greatly. I feel free and more fulfilled, though I miss my life in Cuba, especially my family. But that's a reality that no longer exists, because the person I loved the most was my grandmother, and my grandmother is no longer here. In fact, when my grandmother died, it was a turning point in my life. That was when I said, I have to do something with my life, I have to change, I have to take more risks in my life, because my grandmother had a Spanish passport and she never came to Spain. She kind of settled a little maybe with the life she had. She was always the most important person in my life, or is she still? But I always saw that she didn't want to leave her comfort zone, So when she died, I got really sad because I thought, wow, my grandmother had the Spanish passport in her hands. She had the chance to leave Cuba and she didn't do it. I don't want to have that chance and not take it. I want to take risks, leave my comfort zone and improve because I dislike my current reality. And I came to Spain for that, to get out of my reality in Cuba. And well, now I'm here in Spain. My life changed and the way I think also changed. It's inevitable. There are already many things because of what I've lived through, what I've experienced. And now a lot of very basic things don't surprise me anymore. Like right now, being on a tourist trip in another country. If it were a new country, something really different, yes. But I've already seen quite a bit of Europe and I feel like it's pretty similar. There are differences in language, culture, food, definitely, but in general, it's a pretty similar environment. I'm less surprised now because traveling and going out used to be my way to survive. For me, since my only goal was to leave the country, I saw leaving the country or traveling as my way out, my step toward freedom, my way to survive. Now I see it as fun, quality of life, getting to know new things, enjoying myself. It's not the same perspective anymore, and maybe that's why I see it as more normal now, I guess. Miguelito, does anything about Porto surprise you?
The house style really reminds me of Amsterdam.
European kids stuff surprises you, but that's the childhood we deserve to travel and discover. Every child should have that. But if you lived in Cuba, you couldn't do this?
I would already know, but I would still try.
Another thing that changed for me living in Spain is my perspective on certain things. I'm going to talk about a topic where some people might have one opinion and others might have another because that's normal. Here, I want to express myself and be free to talk about what I think, and everyone has different thoughts. Can you imagine if everyone thought or wanted the same thing? It would be strange, the world wouldn't be the world, and for the world to be the world, people want different things or think different things, isn't that true? So, well, I'm going to explain something else, I think, and something else about how I'm not the same as before in my life in Spain. One thing that happens a lot is that they tell us, those of us who come from outside, that we can't complain. Or if you complain about something, they're going to criticize you like, didn't you come from another country where you had nothing and here you have all these things, so don't complain because this isn't your country? And what happens? Maybe we shouldn't complain or be so demanding. Every country has its virtues and flaws, and that's true. It's true we had less back home, and here we have many things we didn't before. But from another perspective, which I've discussed with friends, it's different. The thing is, we left a country that didn't work, a failed system, also known as Cuba, to a country where we can have a better quality of life. So what if the country we came to starts to fail? Do you think that's fair or not? Is it okay to complain a bit about things that aren't working? For us, at least for me, I'm self-employed, pay my taxes, contribute and do everything right, but I've never received any help from the state. Since I arrived, I've been working, supporting myself and paying taxes. Like a Spanish citizen, just normal, like any lifelong citizen of Spain, you know? And especially being self-employed, as you know, those of you who are from Spain, and especially those who are self-employed, you know what it means to be self-employed. It's a tough thing, a difficult thing. So if I'm fulfilling all my civic duties, Spain is welcoming me and I'm contributing and paying taxes, shouldn't it also meet certain obligations? And I have the right to complain if I feel that something isn't right. That's what I think if I'm paying taxes. I left a country that didn't work for me for one, where I hope for a better quality of life, especially since I'm now contributing to this government. So I think it's fair to complain. It's fair to complain whenever you feel like it. If there's something you don't like, something unfair, something that's not being done right. Spaniards complain more than most. People here often voice opinions and criticize their government, which they're free and entitled to do. So people from outside don't have the same rights just because we're outsiders. But if we work and follow the rules, we should have those rights too. So my perspective has changed a little because at first I didn't want to complain about anything and I saw everything as fine. And I always said no, and I would say like I'm not going to complain because my country was worse. But after a while, when I sometimes see some treatment or some service or something that's not working well, and I say, damn, they're taking a lot of taxes from me, or, you know, what am I paying for? Because, well, that's the law, you know? I have the right to complain if I don't like something. I've started to let myself complain more instead of holding back. And yes, I want to give my opinion. I want to say the things I don't like. I want to be free to express my opinion. I'm in a free country now, not a dictatorship or prison country like Cuba. I'm in a free country where I can express my opinion, so if I can, I will. I don't know, that's what I think is fair. I know you'll have different opinions, so share your thoughts in the comments. Are you on the Don't Complain team or the other team? Well, yes, I do things right, so I'm not going to complain. Lately, I've been switching over to this team, and it's not like I'm a complainer. I'm actually a pretty calm person, pretty content and grateful to the universe and with my reality and with the place where I put myself. I've noticed some situations where I think this could be improved in this country. Don't you agree? Now I'm going to look for a place to eat, and this is another thing that doesn't surprise me as much as it used to, and that's with the food. When I first arrived in Spain from Cuba, I wasn't used to having many food options. I arrived in Spain, saw all the food and went crazy eating, but I ate too much processed and unhealthy food. Since it tasted good, I'd eat anything without any filter. But Spain is a European country, Spain, and now that I'm in Portugal, it has an incredible food culture. People eat healthy, they eat fresh, they eat really good local products. And it's like, I don't want to be misunderstood. Well, I don't care. I'm going to express what I feel. And that's it. It's like all of a sudden I said, look, I'm going to try to eat as well as possible. If I'm here in Galicia, what's going on? Since I live in Galicia, I'm in Spain and I'm in an area where you can eat well, fresh, and with a lot of quality. So I've tried to choose those better products instead of, for example, eating at a McDonald's because you have the possibility. Even in the villages, you eat in really simple places with super cheap prices and food of excellent quality. Choosing this path has helped me refine my palate, which I didn't have in Cuba. By knowing when food is good, when food isn't that good, when food is fresh, I don't know, fresh fish, fresh meat. Now I noticed that, I don't know how to say it, it's like I'm not the same anymore. My taste has changed too. Well, I ordered a draft beer, As they say in Portugal, Superboc is popular, but Estrela de Galicia is unmatched, especially if you're in Portugal. Codfish fritters are like a little thing that's fried. No, wait until you see, thank you. It contains codfish and potato. If you're here, be sure to try it. It looks very homemade. I always talk about all of this from my duality, since I've lived in two totally different realities. I first lived in a socialist country, a dictatorship, with a lot of shortages, and then I came to live, to Spain, which is a country with a free market, with more opportunities, with freedom, with food, and that's why I always talk about these things. What about others who've shared my reality? Both realities understand what it's like to live on the other side and realize all of this feels like a distant dream. Sometimes I notice people who seem not to have truly lived. They speak from the privilege of living here and love giving opinions about how we live there, even though they know nothing about it. They say things that are completely wrong. I wish I could send them to Cuba for a month so they could truly see what life is like there. If you aren't Cuban, Venezuelan, or from a similar country, you can't speak from your privilege and assume you're right, since there are many things you'll never understand. And nowadays, I always speak from both of my experiences. And how have I changed my mindset? And I realized that yes, here I have a privileged life, that I've changed my mindset a bit, that I'm more aware of things that I know. I know what it's like to have better quality of life, rights, and freedom, and I know I can change along with my mindset. And that's not bad at all. What's bad is how things are in my country, not being able to leave, not being able to dream, not being able to see other realities. For many, all of this is just a dream and feels impossible to achieve. They wake up each morning wondering when their reality, misery, and suffering will finally end. And I know it because my family lives it. My friends over there in Cuba live it. All of them live it. And nowadays, they themselves have told me that I've changed, but it's because I've realized that another reality exists, and it's not wrong that I've changed. The problem is the government's oppressing my country. Right now, as I record this video, it's all happening in Venezuela. And I've seen so many opinions and so many different things. Honestly, I just say you have to live it to really know what it feels like. Discussing your privilege allows for opinions, but you won't truly feel like someone who's experienced years of oppression. You can have any opinion, but everything we're experiencing is wrong. The way they oppress us, treat us poorly, and things in Cuba get worse every day. It breaks my heart to see my country like this. That's why I haven't returned. Going back would break my heart again. Knowing this reality and that I've changed a bit makes me even more disappointed with my country's reality. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a like, all those things that are super important for this channel to keep growing. And well, leave me your opinion below. What do you think about this topic? Have you experienced it or not? Do you think the same as I do, or have you changed? After so much time living in a country different from your own, maybe things are going a bit better for you than in your home country, I don't know. Sending you a big kiss, and I'll see you next Sunday with a new video. Bye!